All right. We're starting chapter 7. How can we compare rates? So, whenever you're trying to describe how quickly or slowly something occurs, you're describing a rate. To describe a rate, you need to provide two pieces of information. If two people walk 10 miles, for example, it may seem like they're doing the same thing. But if you find out that one person walked the whole distance in 3 hours while the other person took 8 hours, it becomes clear that they were traveling at different speeds. In this lesson, you will be describing how things change in comparison to each other. So, the sixth graders at Shasta Middle School are planning a class trip to Washington, D.C. They need to raise enough money for 146 graders to travel, so they have a lot of work to do. Class officers have collected the data about different kinds of fundraisers. They want your help choosing a fundraiser activity. How much will the class members earn if they spend 6 weeks doing yard work? How much will they earn if they spend 6 weeks having car washes? Be prepared to explain. So in the yard work, 2 weeks is already $320. So if it's 2 weeks for $320, we could actually build just a generic rectangle, right? We are not a generic rectangle. I'm sorry, a double number line. So let's go back. It was yard work was 2 weeks, 320. 2 weeks, 320. So I could just bump this up to 4 and bump this up to 6. So that's 640 and bump that up to get to 960. So that's $960 for 6 weeks of yard work. All right, 6 weeks of car washes. Oof. So that one, we could, if we set up a double number line 2, right, and we do, let's just choose a different color here. If we do money in weeks here, and I set that up that 0, 0, right? If I have, this was for car washes, sorry. That was for 4 weeks. Oops, 4 weeks, almost didn't go in there. $700. I don't need that there. Come on. 700, right? If I go to 8 weeks, I find out that it would be $1,400, right? Okay. Well, that's not super duper helpful because I need to find that in between. And sometimes it's easy to find that in between, but other times we can just do little things like this. Do another 4 weeks to get to 12, and we get $2,100, right? And what that allows us to do is to find out if we cut this in half, we can get 6 weeks. So we cut that in half to get that, right? $2,100 cut in half. You should be able to do that division on your own. I'm going to do that super quick here. And when you do that, whoops, that's a 1. Drop a 0 down because I couldn't get in there. And there we go. There's a 10, 0, 0. So that is $1,050. All right. Well, which one's the better deal? Definitely the car washes, right? How much money would the class earn if recycled bottles and cans during the next 3 weeks of school? Ooh, recycling. Oh, the recycling is 3/5 of a week. Well, let's set that up the same way then, right? Let's set that up where we do money in weeks. Oops. So we have $0 for 0 weeks, right? And what do we find out? Our rate is, recycling is 3/5 of a week, or $85. Ooh, this one's a little trickier, right? Because if I double this, I get 6/5 of a week, and I double that, I get $170, right? Ooh, 6/5 is not friendly yet, right? And I could do that again, another 3/5, so that's 9/5. 9/5, keep in mind, that is 1 4/5 of a week. Okay, we need it to be 3 weeks, so we got to keep going, right? So we'll do another 85 on that one. $255, I believe. Let's make sure I'm doing that right because I can't screw that up now, right? All right, so I'm going to do another one. So another 3/5, and another 3/5 would be 12/5, which is 2 2/5. We're still not to 3 weeks, so we'll add that 85 in there. Right, 80, 33, 34, I believe. 255 and that. And then looks like I need to do one more, hopefully, because 15/5 is 3 or 3 weeks. So we'll do one more 5, and that'll be $425, I believe. Hopefully I did my numbers right, and we will double check in just a second. 425s. So the quicker way to do that is to multiply 3/5 by 5 to get there, right? So then I do 85 times 5 to get here. So, right, just to prove that, 3/5 times 5, I'm sorry, not 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, no, it would be 5, I apologize, would get me to 15/5 or 3. So I will do the same thing. I'll do 85 times 5, and what will that become, right? All right, so 85 times 5, hopefully that's that 425 that we just talked about. Yes, it is. Perfect. So we did our math correctly. All right, let's move on to 7-2. The class president has decided the students will either sell cookies or hold a car wash. The rest of the officers need your help to compare the profit from cookie sales to the profit from car washes. Well, let's take a look. Cookie sales is 3 weeks for $500, so cookie sales. And then car washes is 4 weeks at $700, right? Okay, so there's a lot of different ways for us to go about this, maybe do this. And what it is just a matter of just like what's the best way in your mind to get you to whatever it is that you're kind of looking for, right? So let's do, I decided to do car washes, 4 weeks at $700. All right. And sometimes what we can do is we could just see, we could double 8 when we already knew this, and we could go one more time to 12, and that's 2,100. And I'm going to stop right there for right now. Now let's do the cookies, 3 weeks for 500. 3 weeks for 500 cookies. Oops, I don't know why I put that line in there, but we're going to leave it for now, 0 and 0. And I'm going to try to line them up a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's perfect. It has to be perfect, but it kind of maybe helps to visualize that. All right. So if I do 3, then I go to 6, that would be 1,000. And if I go to 9, that would be 1,500. And I could go to 12, and that'd be 2,000. And I could stop right there. And if you, this is a good way to compare. It looks like the car wash is better, right? However, other ways that we could do this, we could figure out what it would be for 6 weeks here, right? If we had 6 weeks here, we could do the easy comparison. We already knew that the 6 weeks for car washes was 1,500, right? We had that from earlier. Or 1,050, sorry. And that's clearly more money than that. So that's a different way to do that. So all kinds of different ways. As long as we're comparing the same time or weeks in time, we can do that. Which fundraising activity money raises the fastest? Selling cookies or car washes, right? Well, write a note to there just to justify your answer. Which one will be best? Just put a quick note that what? Car washes are better. Why? Car wash, and then you explain. Justify that, right? So there we go. Selling cookies, car washes, write a note. We did that. Now, 7-7. The 7th grade class was also looking at the data from problem 7-1. They had information of another fundraiser, selling lemonade. They can earn $65 for every 2 days selling lemonade. Assume all the fundraising activities happen only on school days, and that there are 5 days in a school week. So, which activity will raise money faster, selling lemonade or selling cookies? Remember, the rate for selling cookies was $500 every 3 weeks. Now, do we have anything else from up above here that might be helpful? Maybe. All right. What we have to recognize first is that one is in days and one is in weeks. And if they're not the same, right, if we don't put them in the same either days or weeks, this is really hard for us to compare, right? So let's talk about the lemonade. Maybe we could figure out what it is for 1 week. So for the lemonade, right, and we find out that when we talk dollars and days in this case, we have $65. Oops, let me put the zeros in here. 0 and 0. That's going to be $65 in 2 days, right? And if I could maybe figure out what it could be for, what do we say? I could bump this up to, 10 days, right? I could multiply by 5 to there, and so I can multiply by 5 there, so 65 times 5. What that will do is 10 days would be 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. And if I could just figure out what it'd be for 2 weeks, then at least we could have them both as weeks to do that, right? So 325. There we go. So that means now that lemonade is $325 for 2 weeks. All right, now we're finally able to do some comparisons, right? Or some work at least in comparisons. All right, so now that I know that cookies, and I'm looking up above here in the purple, is that it is for 6 weeks, it's $1,000. Now I can do a new rate, and my new rate will be dollars for weeks. Weeks, so that's 0, 0. But now what I'm going to do is 2 weeks is 325. What I'll do is I'll figure out, based on my purple there, what it is for 6. So I would multiply by 3 to get to 6 weeks. So I'm going to take that 325, and I'm going to multiply that also by 3, right? 5, 1, 7. And no carrying right there, so 975. Whoops, that's a horrible 9. 975. There we go. Now we can do that comparison, right? Whose is better? Well, it looks like, man, it's really close, but lemonade is $975 for 6 weeks, where cookies is $1,000. So just for $25 more in 6 weeks, you get more money from the cookies, right? So in part B, Trin described the profit from lemonade sales as earning a rate of $325 in 2 weeks. We did do that, right? A rate is to measure how one quantity changes in comparison to another. It can be expressed as a ratio of a single number. Is Trin's rate of $325 in 2 weeks the same as earning money at a rate of $65 in 2 days? Why or why not? It is the same. It's just it's the same rate, meaning that we get the same amount of money per day. Or week. Same amount of money per, you could say week, or you could say day, for those, right? So even though it is the same rate, it's not something we would normally compare, but what we can say is it is the same amount of money for each day. All right, at this point, I'm going to stop the video because I'm just not going to do the additional challenge. So if you have any other questions, please let me know.